Hello guys, hope everyone is staying safe and sane and happy and healthy and positive. So since we all are running out of ideas of what to make at home, since we can't go out to eat like we're used to, especially here in New York City, I decided to make something that's kind of dear to my heart because of where I come from. I come originally from Baku, Azerbaijan, and I'm gonna make plov, but I'm gonna make it my own style. So for those of you who are watching from Baku, it's not gonna be necessarily very traditional because I'm gonna use brown rice and I'm gonna make it a bit healthy. And I don't have all the ingredients. I had to improvise because I don't want to go to a store right now. So I'm gonna set. So I already made some rice. I just really cooked the rice, right? So it's sitting here in a pot, and now I'm gonna make a little garnish for our plov. So I'm sautéing some onions right now here. So I'm sautéing the onions in, and I'm using this kind of earth balanced butter. It's a butter that is, it's not dairy, and it's basically, it tastes just like real butter, and it's good for you. So I'm gonna saute this onion, and in back where I come from, we use a lot of onions. I personally don't, because then I smell like onion and I cannot stand it. But today I'm gonna make it just for you guys. And my mom uses a lot of onions when she cooks. And I think a lot of different cultures too. But so this one is just going to be sauteed. I actually remember when I was a child, and my grandmother used to make any dish with onion, and when it would get golden brown, and just I would love to just take a piece of bread and kind of dip and have that. So that was one of my very favorite dishes to eat. So I'm gonna saute the onion here. So it's gonna take a while because I want it to be a little bit, well done. So it's nice and sweet and golden brown. And so traditionally, what we use that plov with is we mix it with it's a dish that comes on the side. It's basically sauteed onions with chestnuts, which I love, dried apricots, which I don't have. I thought I did, but I don't, and I don't feel like going to a store, as I already said. So I'm gonna use dried figs instead. So it's gonna be, they're still really good for you. And so it's gonna have the same effect, and it's gonna be a different taste, but we're just trying to make something delicious and something that's good for you, and something exotic, I guess, for a lot of you, because you're not from Azerbaijan, so for you it's gonna be exotic. And for me, it's just, just the ideas come to me, as many of you know, and I just make them. That's how my chocolate ideas and recipes and flavors and everything was born, just by thinking it and then making this a reality. So today my reality is sitting at home doing some work, and now making plov for you. So anyway, until this is gonna get golden brown, I'm going to dice some figs because we don't want it to be too big. So I'm gonna dice them a little bit, cut them a little bit, then make little smaller pieces, and then I'm gonna add it to this with chestnut, and I'm gonna saute everything. So stay tuned. I'll come back to you when this whole thing is already cooking together. Okay, see you in a second. Hello back, welcome back. So now I've sauteed all of the ingredients that I mentioned to you guys earlier. So basically we sauteed whole onion, we sauteed about a cup of chestnuts, and about a cup of figs, dried figs. As I said, the recipe really calls for dried apricots, which is going to make it more traditional, and if you have it, I would suggest to use that. But again, I like to improvise, and I never follow recipes. I always create my own. So again, the idea of cooking, especially these days, is to create something with what you already have, right? Because you don't want to run to a store for one ingredient, and you won't always have all the ingredients. So ever since, that's why I don't like baking too much, because it calls for the precise recipe, and I always like to improvise, and I like to add a little bit of this and take a little bit of that away. So here I'm just making my my little improvised version of Bakuvian Plov a la Ada. Anyway, I really hope you will enjoy it. So now that I've sauteed it and it's like very nice and golden color, those three ingredients, and again, if you wanted to add any other dried fruit, be my guest, you know. And then I'm gonna add some black pepper. I like things that are very, very flavorful, and I'm gonna add some Himalayan salt. Again, you know, salt, especially pink Himalayan salt, is good for you, and it brings out the flavor. So, and so I'm gonna mix it. So I'm basically this is already done. You know, you can either cook it together or put on the side and then combine. So traditionally, this also the recipe calls for lamb. So back in Baku, we combine this with lamb. So you saute it all together, and that's basically a side dish for the plov. But I'm not gonna put lamb here today. I'm gonna make it vegetarian, because I am gonna use eggs for the crust. I will show you how that's done in just a moment. But you know, so this basically a side dish. And again, if you wanted to add lamb to this or any other protein, if you wanted to add a vegan meat, you can do that as well. Or if you just like to add nothing, just like that, it's delicious by itself as well. So anyway, so that's done. I'm going to transfer it to a plate here, and then we're gonna go to our next step, and this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna get a couple of ingredients ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, hi guys, so I'm back. So what we're making right now is we're making the crust for the plov, so it's gonna cook all together. This is my favorite part from this plov. So growing up, when my mother serves it, or now, or even then, or my grandmother, or my aunts, you would make a big plate of that plov, and then you would take the crust and you would cut it in smaller pieces and put on top, and it's nice and crunchy and crispy and just so flavorful. You know, that was you know, so everybody used to always reach for that first. I mean, my sister and I always do that till this day. So so the way that would make, I'm using a little bit of a different pot, and hopefully it's gonna come out. But you know, so basically you'll take a couple of eggs and you will beat them just like you make in an omelet, and you will add salt and pepper to it, and pepper, and then I'm going to use the same pot just because it already has a lot of the flavor in it, and I'm going to put some of the same butter. You can use any other butter as well if you prefer. I'm going to use the same one. You can also use olive oil, but traditionally back in Azerbaijan they would use butter, just like a regular butter. But obviously we're trying to make a healthier version of this, so we're going to use that. And then one thing that you would want to add to this is something that I've actually used in one of my lattes recently, turmeric. So turmeric is an amazing herb. It has so many beneficial nutrients in it. So that's what makes, that's what's gonna make our plov yellow. And again, I'm using a brown rice, so it's gonna have a little bit of a different color. Traditionally use white rice or basmati rice or whatever it is, and then obviously that will absorb the color of this better. But my mom just told me to put some of that in here as well, in egg, so it's gonna give it a nice and golden color. And then to this mixture, which is the basically just eggs and turmeric, salt and pepper, I'm adding a cup of already cooked rice. So it's gonna make our crust even better. So you mix it very well together, and then you will put it on the bottom, and I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit here. Then you're gonna put on the bottom. So you're gonna make it a bit thin. So basically you're gonna spread the love, so because you want it to be nice and crispy. And so, you're just gonna let it cook a little bit. You're not gonna flip it like you would an omelet, because it's gonna cook eventually, because we're gonna add rice to this right now, and it's all gonna cook together for some time. So, and again, if you're vegan and you don't eat regular eggs, you can use anything that, you know, you can either use an egg substitute. They have many different versions right now, or you know, actually some cultures like Syrian rice, I think they put thin layers of potatoes on the bottom, and then they flip it, and that's their version of crust. So everybody's different. My friend from Baku, from Azerbaijan, actually told me recently that the way she would make it, she would put dough on the bottom, and then she would make plov and then cover it and then put it in the oven. So there's different versions of how you can make it. I'm making it the way I've seen my whole life, and you know, and it's just something different. It's also fun to make, I guess. And and again, we're making a healthy version of it. So you're gonna have it, you know, cook here on a low heat, and with the rice, you're gonna start adding this rice slowly to this mixture. You don't want to put it all together. My mom told me, I'm sure there's a good reason for that. And as I said, I don't follow the recipes, but you know, why not? Since they just try to make it the way it's supposed to, because we already improvised in many different things in this recipe. So. You know, everybody has their own hobby or an art or whatever it is that makes them, you know, kind of just going into their own meditative state. Besides meditation, of course, meditation is important for everyone, but for me, it really is. I love cooking, you know, especially when I don't stress that I need to, and right now, obviously, I kind of have to. I just really enjoy it, you know, because and you know, it's also the energy that you put in it. You know, when you enjoy it, you're making it with so much more love. So, and when people eat it, they actually taste it. I've come across that a lot with my own product line, which is Cioccolada, as many of you probably know. So when I started making it, it's one of the things that I've been hearing quite often is that people just felt the energy that was put in it. And it's true, because even now I'm playing Andrea Bocelli in the background, but I always play music for my chocolate when I was producing it on my own. So I put that energy, you know, and I make it with salt. You know, you put a piece of your creativity, your energy in it, and it does taste so much better. You know, it's just people really taste it. And so now that we added all of this, so you know, back in the traditional dishes of Azerbaijan, they use a lot of butter with everything. I mean, I guess that goes for every culture. You know, everybody uses a little bit or a little bit too much of something, right? So with this recipe, you would put butter on top. So I'll do that because you know, it's just I think it's gonna taste better. Plus, I'm using a giltless butter anyway. So you put that on top, and you're gonna let it cook. I'm already smelling the crust. So the main ingredient that you put on top is, again, we're going back to turmeric. So that's what's gonna make our rice yellow. So you basically will sprinkle it on top, and you put butter on top. And again, I was talking about the benefits of turmeric the other day, and you know, still I'm gonna leave some for my latte. But you know, if you like the taste, it's kind of like, it's not like spicy. It's like kind of like sweet. You know, I personally love it. And so we did that. I didn't put any salt on my rice, but I'm gonna do it right now to bring out the flavor. And so I remember when my mom makes it, she puts she covers it well, and she puts, for some reason, a paper towel on in between. I'm not gonna do that because I run out of paper towels, but I'm just gonna cover it, and I'm gonna let the butter melt on top, and I'm gonna let it do what it needs to do. It always pretty much does, right? I mean, you know, the butter and the spices are gonna kind of mix in, and it's gonna so I'm gonna leave it on a very low heat, and I'm gonna let it cook, and we'll come back when it's ready. Welcome back. Hi guys. So our dish is almost ready. So you need to really leave it cooking so that rice gets really dark and crispy for about, depending on your pot and depending on how deep it is, or small or big, you know, but you want the crust to be golden, like dark golden brown and crispy. And and then what I did, I added all of the side that we made. I added on top, as you could see. So it's gonna cook a little bit together, and so it's almost done. I'm just gonna serve it, and so you can see it's gonna be very nice and delicious. Either dish as is, or a side dish for whatever it is that you want to serve it with. And I hope you will enjoy it.